I have you a little out. That's okay. Hello, hi, welcome back. Welcome if you're new. My name is Elena. We are on the last 5 days of 75 Soft. I have my little watch here that is charging because it was almost dead and I wanted to go for a walk. I'm just trying to see how much battery I got. 23%. That's enough for a walk. I know that the count's going to be off because I've been going up and down the stairs already and just morning duties. And it is already about 8:30, so way later than what I want to do in a walk. But I thought it's supposed to stay cooler for the morning-ish time, and what I mean by cooler is just like 80s, which out here can still feel pretty warm, especially if the sun's right on you. So I don't know how fast or how long my walk's gonna be, but I know I want to get out there for a second before I come back in and start packing up, cleaning up, doing that kind of stuff. If you didn't catch the last video, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about with packing up. So if you want to recap and see if you missed any of our journey along the way, I usually link the videos down below in order. If you want to do a little playlist and watch through those, I would greatly appreciate it. So put my watch on, I'm going to get going. There's a little free library next to us, and I'm going to take this behemoth of a book and put it in the little free library. I think I bought this one because for one of my kids, that was during their school year, they were supposed to, this was like a voluntary book, an added bonus, if you will. I don't know, the words are not coming to me, but Alice in Wonderland. And then I bought it from ThriftBooks, actually. They got it from Barnes & Noble, it looks like. But it is a giant book, and these, I know, are so uncomfortable to read. So there's a little free library on my walk, if I walk a certain way. So I'm gonna go take it there. That's cool, right, dude?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. The one that I have bought it for is sitting with me, but I have seen another Barnes & Noble edition that I actually really like, and every time we go, I pick it up and I look at it and I'm like, man, I wish we would have got this one. And it's actually I think they call it their paperback version, and it's like smaller and lighter, and I'm like, I wish we would have got that instead. So it may not seem like much, one less thing out the door, but in my mind, I'm going to give us props for that because it's one more thing out the door, and this is a giant book. And then when we get to wherever God is leading us to, maybe we'll look into getting that special Barnes & Noble edition that I've been eyeing for literal months. Anyways, let's go walk. As far as food today, all I've had is 24 ounces of water. I do try to drink that before coffee, and then I've had 1 cup of coffee. Usually I do like 1.5, but 1 cup of coffee, and I filled up my 40 ounces of water, and I just took a sip. I don't want to carry it with me when I walk. Okay, or else it's time. Okay, I've been back from my walk. It's about 10 o'clock. I have some white rice and quinoa going. I have a little dude that is trying to put together a journal. So he's got paper going around here. I am going to eat. I think I'm just going to make some egg whites and an egg, and then have one of these English muffins. These, what is it? Light multi-grain English muffins as well. So, oh no, I got a lot of shell in here. What a mess. I just threw another piece in. Gravy, what is going on?
All the papers.
No, I meant with Mom because of the shells I'm getting in here, but paper's driving you bonkers too, bud?
Yeah,
so, okay, good. Shell is supposed to attract shell, which is why I'm using this. I think I got it all.
Bingo.
What?
You can try making bingo, right?
No, I don't want crunchy eggs. We interrupt this breakfast for Mom to help my youngest make the journal. So he's got some paper here, and I thought he's been hanging on to these. We bought these for our road trip, and then we forgot to take them, and he's been hanging on to them, I think because he likes the cover. So we're gonna see if we can use this. He's been hanging on to the cardboard because he likes the cover. We're gonna see if we can use this to help make the cover. But let me see here, buddy. It's not gonna be perfect. Okay, total mom moment, because I asked him where the larger scissors are. I know that we haven't packed them yet, but who knows where they are. So I'm gonna try to eat some breakfast. My eggs and my English muffin. I think originally in my head I was gonna put the eggs on the English muffin, but no, I'm just gonna see what I can get in my mouth before we do this art project. I'm hoping to sit down and show you, while we're on the subject of art, or whatever, show you our homeschool plans for the year. Because of this move, things have gotten a little rearranged, and what we're doing with that in the middle of that. So I'm hoping to like sit down, hoping to sit down at some point and share, but it's on the list of things to do. Oh, let's see if we found the scissors. Here's our finished product, in case you were wondering. So, that's done. We're gonna clean up. Got a couple pages left. And then I want to get started on cleaning up the living room, packing that up for the rest of I ended up going on a 30-minute walk. I want to clean the living room. I want to make some sense of it. We had some repairs being done, and so the house is already in disarray because we had started packing, but then it got further into disarray because we had to like shove things out of the way. So stuff everywhere, and I need to clean that up. I also did a Walmart pickup for like packing tape and randomness. Anyways, I made rice earlier too because I wanted to have it for my lunch, and then I think I have some leftover like roast, and I'm gonna split that with my husband so that we have another lunch. I'm gonna wrap it up and put it in the freezer with some veg, and then that way we have another lunch ready to roll too. I gotta go help him, and then I need to get started on this. I'm so far behind. It's almost 11. Behind what? I don't know. It just mentally, I feel like behind in my day. It's 1:30, just got back from the Walmart run, and then I also dropped off something. We are purging as well, so that was good. It was a tiny little nothing. Now I make it seem like it was so much, but if we're keeping track, that's 2 things that left my house and are on their way hopefully to somebody better. The book this morning, and then the little bit of curriculum. I'm tired. It's really hot outside. I don't know why I'm so tired. I feel like I could take a nap. It's 1:30 though. I'm gonna eat, and I have got 1 box done. So I got 1 big box packed, which is better than nothing, right? Still have a ways to go here, but I mean, these baskets, it's not a moving blog. You don't care. There's just stuff everywhere. Lunch is some chicken with green chili, and then I added some Normandy veg to it, or my biggest actually helped me and grabbed it from the freezer, so we add Normandy veg, and then down here is the quinoa and white rice. So I'm gonna eat this, and for dinner we have pork chops in the slow cooker because we're trying to eat down our freezer. In the midst of day 71, I was just gonna show you a little bit of life. One of the things from the Walmart pickup, we picked up these hefty bags with the slider. There's only 10 in here, but they're the jumbo 2.5 gallon ones. And they were like 3 something. So, in case you're curious. But I have some games here that I'm hoping to maybe slim down by putting them in bags. So I don't have any left out to show you, but I did have some other bags, zipper like mesh bags, but I feel like these headband games, if you caught that, we have 3 different kinds of headbands. We have a Shopkins, we have Pokemon, and then we have a Disney one, and I think we actually had the original one too, but yeah, it's just fun and the kids like it. But there's some big pieces in here, and I think we're gonna put them, I wanted to make sure they fit in here. So let's do this. I'll open it up. They had the ones with like the zip, like the regular, not the zipper thing, but you know, the seal, press and close or whatever it's called. But I wanted the zipper because I feel like that'll just be easier for little hands too. I could search for a rubber band and put all the cards in a rubber band and put them in here, but not today. And then, if you search back in our videos, I'll bet you'll be able to tell where the haul that we bought this on, because we got it from Savers, one of our favorite thrift stores. But the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and cut the lid off. Now, should be a little bit, we can fit a little bit more. And where we keep our games, we were running out of space in that area anyways, so this should help with it. Also, this gives me a minute to like sit down because, I don't know, this afternoon slump really hit me. I'm so tired. I kind of want to have coffee, but then I'm like, you should just have kombucha instead maybe. I really want a nap, but I know I won't nap, so. I did read a little bit of my nonfiction book. I had to start a new one yesterday. I'll put the picture up for you of what I'm reading because I can't remember. I think it's like The Year Without Sugar or something like that. So I started that yesterday. I think I was more hopeful about reading it. Today I'm like, I don't think I want to read this. I feel like the next couple of weeks we'll probably have sugar-laden foods. And I just don't know if I could deal with that right now. So maybe I'll pick up an autobiography. That would be a nonfiction book, right? Okay, it's actually almost 4 now, and my back is really fighting me. So I'm gonna ice it for a little bit. We got one corner completely done, and then we rearranged the boxes a little bit. So I'm just kind of looking out at it. And then, yeah, it's a process. So I was drinking some mineral water, and then I'm gonna have just one of these peanut butter protein bars from Costco, the Kirkland brand. I want something sweet, but I feel like I should have some more protein, and this is what I thought would go good. So I'm gonna ice my back and watch a movie with my little dude and have this. It's Saturday, day 72, I think. I really wanted to get in every day of the last 5 days for you, but it's already like almost 4, a little after 4. And it's been a whirlwind of a day. So my son had a club this morning that I took him to. It takes up most of the day, and I didn't eat before I left. I meant to bring a protein bar with me, but I didn't grab it, so I didn't eat till I came home. When I came home, I had a little bit of turkey pepperoni and then a cheese stick and a couple of chicken nuggets. Is it the best? No, but I did get some protein, some fat from the cheese and the cheese sticks. I'm gonna put my shoes on because I am gonna get the hair out of my face, but I'm also going to walk on our walking pad. It has been like on and off thunderstorms, and the sun just came out, but I already put my PJ pants on because the thunderstorm, I was like, we're done for the day, I'm staying home. So I put PJ pants on, and I am gonna walk slowly on the walking pad so I can get my intentional movement in for the day. And then I think while I'm walking on that, my son and my husband are gonna watch like a dad-son show. So they're gonna watch something that interests both of them, but not so much me. And so I'll walk and read my nonfiction pages. I think I am going to read The Brave Learner. I forgot that I had checked this out from the library, and I already started it, but I haven't got too far into it. So I'm going to continue reading this instead of the No Sugar book or the No Sugar for the Year book. So I'll read this while I'm walking. And then this evening, my husband I think he's going to attempt to make steak for him and I. We're trying to eat through the freezer, and so we had some steaks in there. So that would be a good dose of protein. And then I think we have He was asking about broccoli earlier, so we may have a side of broccoli, good fiber veg in there, and maybe potatoes with it. We'll see what we have. It may end up being tater tots for a potato, but we'll see what we have. And then I'll probably end up Saturday. I am drinking my water though. I'm doing pretty good on that. I drank some in the morning before my coffee, and then that's all I've been having since we've been home. Okay, let me get on this and keep going with these last 5 days. Good morning, good morning. It's day 75. I don't even know how we got here. Things are crazy in the house, or a little more chaotic than usual, because we just keep getting news about the move, and it's moving really quickly. But we're on day 75. Yesterday we ran errands. Actually, let me skip back 2 days. Sunday was day 75, 74, 73. 73, Sunday. We went to church. It was so good. And we really needed that. And it was just so great. So we just soaked all that in. And then we did go out to eat as a family, just to kind of take a breath and try to prepare for the week. And so my husband and I just took a day of rest, and so did the family. We watched TV together and that kind of stuff. Then, so that day, my exercise was the 9,000 steps, hitting that, and then I did read my pages. I've been reading the No Sugar book until yesterday. Yesterday was Monday. I got my kiddos down here, they're prepping breakfast, so the sink's going and things like that. But yesterday, day 74, I took my daughter, we had to run some errands, and so we did that, and then we went and grabbed a light lunch. I did end up taking a picture for you, so I'll put it up here. We got to, I think the place was called Costa Vida, and normally we don't eat out back to back like that, but that's just how life turned out. And so I got, I think what they call a Baja bowl, and then I just did no cheese. But I got everything else, and it was delicious. And my daughter and I, it was our first time going there, and we enjoyed it very much. And then for dinner, we've been trying to eat out of the freezer, and so like eat up this food that we have on hand. And we had, I think, short ribs is what we made for dinner, and I made another rice bowl out of it. So today, day 75, all I've had is collagen coffee and some water, and it's go, go, go. So I'm going to try to bring you along as much as I can, and then maybe tomorrow we'll recap. We'll have time to sit down and recap, but let's keep going with today. My littles are having breakfast, like I said. It's already a little after 9. I'm a little hungry, but not quite like ready to pause and sit down and eat. I feel like I need to get something done before. I started clearing off the top of the fridge, and it is like leaking all over here. So maybe we should work on that. I don't even know where to start with moving though. That's going to be a whole nother adventure. So yeah, let's get going with day 75. Okay, lunch is soup that I threw together literally from leftovers. I had some broth in the fridge. We had some zucchini that I just cut and had in the freezer, and then I am dehydrating little tiny bits of potato, and so I still had frozen potato, and so I threw like a tiny handful in there too. So that's this. This was chicken with green chili on it, but it didn't have a whole ton of it, so it's kind of hard to see the green chili. And I think I may add some of these jalapenos on top just for crunch. The crunch won't last long in the soup, but I've been adding this on everything, so I think we might add that in there. It is almost 12:20, and this is going to be the first like real meal for me today. Not great. I should have had breakfast, but again, we're in the midst of things, so it is what it is. It's 3 o'clock. Have a little bit of a headache. I'm trying to drink my water. I've had a knot in my back for a few days. I think it's just like stress from...
That's funny.
That stress is not funny, but they're watching. It's TV time now. So anyways, I'm gonna have a protein bar. It's probably the better choice, because really I just wanted comfort food. I wanted something sweet. I wanted like cookies, candy. Honestly, I wanted a flour tortilla with butter, and I was like, let me have this first. It has protein, and then these actually have a pretty big serving of fiber in it, 10 grams in one bar. So have this first with my water and just kind of sit for a little bit and see if my body will reset so that we can continue on with the rest of today. Oh, I should mention, exercise is getting done because we are doing more packing. I got one complete box done, but I have been like pulling stuff out. Like I dehydrating what I can, just kind of mental gymnastics and physical moving stuff. So that is getting done today. And I just finished reading my 10 pages. I picked up a different book, but I'll share that with you. Okay, it's been a few days. I didn't end up filming dinner, and I apologize, but that night I believe we just made some pork chops in the slow cooker. We've been trying to eat out of our freezer, and that was the first thing that I pulled out. And the easiest way to do it was just to throw it in the slow cooker. But let's recap a little bit. The first thing most people want to know is, did you lose any weight and did your body change? No, mine didn't. But I also didn't gain any weight. So for me, it was a healthy refresh to be able to stop counting macros, because I have been doing it consistently, pretty consistently for about a year when I embarked on the 75 soft. So if you missed, I try to recap the whole little mini series down below if you want to watch it in order, but I talk more about that I think in the first week video. Since I didn't gain any weight, I'm still calling it a win. My clothes are still fitting pretty comfortably. I was able to switch to intuitive eating on the days that I really needed to, and just kind of keep at the forefront, learning like what triggers, and then figuring out my emotional eating and things that I tend to gravitate towards, and then just being aware of that also really helped me rein it in when I needed to. So like I was saying, if some days I noticed that carbs and chocolate are comfort foods, some days I'm gonna let myself have it. But then I'm gonna realize, like, if it's going on more than one day or several days in a row where that's all I'm eating and that's all I'm reaching for, there's something that I need to dig in deeper and kind of process through and dig in and figure that out. Everybody's home right now, so I thought I had a minute, but it may get loud in here in the background. So I'm counting it as a win that those are really big pieces to, like, the emotional triggers and things like that I was able to figure out and kind of work with in my life, and I don't have to be afraid of not eating on macros. I don't have to feel like I need to count macros for the entirety of my life, which sounds awful to me. But I know that they're always there if I need to go back and do that, if ever. So I was really glad that I could figure out, even in the crazier moments of life, which on this journey, we hit some really crazy moments and we're in the midst of it. Another transition period. So for my books, this was the hardest part, I think, of my 75 soft rules, the nonfiction pages. I think for 75 soft, the official rules were that you could read 10 pages of any book and it could be an audiobook. I already read pretty much on the regular nonfiction books. So, I mean, strike that, fiction books. So I wanted to make that a little bit, I wanted to up that a little bit more for me and make it 10 pages of a nonfiction book. That was the hardest part for me because I wasn't always in the mood to read nonfiction. I read as sort of an escape and just to get a mental break. And I didn't want to read nonfiction pages. And I don't know, somehow to me, sometimes they just feel sad or depressive, and I wasn't in the mindset to do that. So let's talk about the books I did finish. I did finish Can't Hurt Me, Master Your Mind and Defy the Odds by David Goggins. This was the first book that I picked up and I read. I did do a little recap on it when I finished it. This was a good book. I was thoroughly impressed with how mentally strong he was. He talks a lot about how we can all push our bodies physically, more physically than we do. Some of it, though, towards the end kind of began to repeat itself. I can see where it is very, very motivational, where people are like, this is crazy. At one point, I think I mentioned it in the previous videos too, he's like running on a broken foot or something. And that mental capacity to push through that physical pain, I cannot even begin to imagine. But I can see how people are like, we can push ourselves harder. Do I ever feel like I need to push myself that hard? I hope I don't. I hope I don't ever have to do that. But it was inspiring to read. There is, if you're sensitive to cuss words or things like that, it is frequently in this book. So there's that. The next book that I picked up was Successful Women Think Differently, 9 Habits to Make You Happier, Healthier, and More Resilient. I had this on my shelf for a while. This is by Valerie Burton, but we're in the midst of packing up, so it's, I think, got packed up. I'm glad that I own it because it is something that I will come back to. At the end of the book, there are questions towards the end of the book and kind of throughout the book. There is throughout the book. Questions to ask yourself, but I think there's like a big list at the back of the book, if I'm remembering correctly, that I will want to revisit, especially in moments of transition, or I'm thinking probably moments where after this transition things start to slow down and trying to find my rhythm, trying to find connections again, trying to build another community and just stay in the right mind frame. I know that this would be a good book to come back to and deeper questions to ask myself. So that book I would recommend if you're looking to dive in deeper for yourself, and maybe you can't afford therapy. I wouldn't say it's a replacement for therapy, but I'm just saying it would be a good start. Also, disclaimer, I'm not a medical professional of anything, so take that with a grain of salt. The next book that I finished reading, or I don't know if this was the next one I finished reading, but one of the books I finished reading was Parenting, 14 Gospel Principles That Can Radically Change Your Family, and this is by Paul David Tripp. I read this along with a friend, so I had already started this book prior to 75 Soft, I think, and then we were reading like really slowly together, and so we finished this book during the 75 Soft. Some of the pages I did count that day for my nonfiction. This book, really good. It starts off with a bang. It's just so good. So much gospel truth that is hits home, or it hit my heart. So good. And then again in the middle, I felt like it kind of was repeating itself, and I found myself feeling a little frustrated at was there any tangible instruction or guidance? And then towards the end, the last few chapters is when they give one or two practical, tangible things to do. But really it's working on your heart and working on your children's hearts, seeing their hearts and understanding that we are all sinners. And it's really hard as a parent not to take things personally when your child is disobeying or lying to you, but to understand that they are sinners too, and what is at the heart of the matter. So another great book. This book, when I talked about it, I teared up. The Reason I Jump, One Boy's Voice from the Silence of Autism. This was a translated book. So I will put up the original author's name because I don't want to mess up the pronunciation of it. And then the translator was David Mitchell, I believe. And this book, like I said, having a special needs child just brought me to tears talking about it. I'm going to go through it quickly because I don't want to cry again. But if you know anybody in your life that has special needs, particularly autism, but I think just across the board, excellent book to read. Even if you don't, I would venture you should read it anyways, just to have a little bit more understanding of what's happening in their world. So essentially what happens is this young man has written a book. He has autism, and he is very little communication, but they have created this system where he can type out, and it was a labor of love. It at one point he talks about how it takes him a long time to answer the questions, but he really wants to share what's in his heart and in his mind. And so there are questions like, why do people with autism do this? And he explains from his point of view why and what that feels like. And the across the board message was, the across the board message I felt like was that, just not to give up on them and to continue to love them and support them in any way you can. And it just, definitely pick this book up if you have it. I loved hearing it from the autism perspective, from his point of view. I also read Grit Don't Quit, Developing Resilience and Faith When Giving Up Isn't an Option, and this was by Bianca Juarez Olhoff. I really like her. I like to hear her speak. I like, she has a podcast. I think I talked about it too. when I talked about this when I first finished it. Good book all around. She sounds like just like a friend that's giving you really good biblical solid advice and walking you through your trials and things. So again, another great recommendation. And then the last one that I finished was Almost Amish, One Woman's Quest for a Slower, Simpler, More Sustainable Life. This is by Nancy Sleeth. This is the books that I finished. I picked up a lot of other books and read a few pages, but didn't complete the books. But this Almost Amish book, I thought it was a good perspective on Amish. I think some of the reviews were saying that she was kind of glorifying and making it seem like only the Amish knew all the answers, but I didn't feel that at all from her. I mean, with a book called Almost Amish, I think you could expect comparisons. So I felt like the book, she just walks through some of their main principles and how we can apply it to our life, and she just uses it as how she's applying it into her life. And the book starts off when someone asks her, I think she's doing a speaking engagement or something like that, and somebody asks her, what are you, Amish? And then she takes you through the journey of, in comparison, maybe this is how I could see where people would think that, and this is where we tie in some of the Amish core values into our life, and we tweak it for our modern life, because she is not Amish or Mennonite. So I enjoyed the book. I thought it was a neat perspective to see, and some of the ways that she is applying these values to her life. So again, I did have a slew of books I didn't finish. I was reading some storage books, like food storage books. I stopped reading My Year Without Sugar because we're in this transition period, and like I said, if I need a piece of chocolate that day, I'm gonna have it. And so I was like, maybe I should put this one off until I can venture in weaning off sugar for a while. So I didn't finish that one either, but all in all, I read some really good books, and a lot more nonfiction books that I would have read if I hadn't done the 75 soft. So that's great, and that was a win. And some of these have been on my TBR for a long time. In the 75 soft, some of my biggest takeaways were that this really was about growing habits, and I learned personally for myself that I can stick to habits, things that are good for me, even when life gets lifey. I think a lot of times I want it to be either or. I want it to be all in or all out, and you know, that kind of, you had to have no cheat days and no days off, and sometimes life just isn't possible like that. Sometimes things happen and they throw you some curveballs and it gets tough, but these are core habits that you want to create in yourself, and I learned that I could persevere and stick to it. I am glad that I did this. I am glad that I got to see myself go through these 75 days and complete it. I know some days felt like, oh my gosh, I just can't do it. A lot of days I didn't want to put in the intentional movement of my body, and I don't know where my camera cut me off. Essentially, that was it. I'm glad that I persevered. I'm glad that I did it. I'm glad that I showed myself that I could push through even in the harder moments of life. I probably will stick with a lot of the habits that I've created. Bible time was in there, and I just found that I just had to make it a priority. Some of these things you just have to push and make a priority if you want to get it done. There were days when I didn't get it done first thing in the morning, and I had to do it in the afternoon or even in the evening. But if it's something where I'm like, I will get this done, then you find time and you try to make it work as best you can. So again, I'm just so glad that I was able to show myself that. I think deeply and on a personal level, I wasn't quite sure that I was going to be able to do it. I thought, I don't want to record this, I don't want to put it out there because what if I fail? But then there was that other small part that was like, but what if you don't? And even if you do fail, it would be great for someone to see it happens sometimes, and you dust yourself off, you pick yourself up, and you get going again, right? So thanks so much for hanging out with me, for coming along this journey with me. I'd love to know if you've done a similar type journey, if you're currently on one, if you're going to begin one. I don't know if I'll do another one anytime soon, just because we are in a huge transition period right now. So everything's just kind of on pause as far as what's next, and what's next keeps coming in pieces for us. So I hope to keep recording and sharing with you, and I hope you stick around. If you're not subscribed, make sure you are. It would really, really help us. And then also, if you hit that like button, it helps us on the algorithm here for the channel. Again, thank you so much for hanging out with me and joining me on this journey.